So I woke up this morning to this from Bethenny Frankel. Let me play it for you.
On Andy Cohen. So we came up together. He was a network executive, became a reunion host and a talk show host, and I had my own trajectory on a parallel path, working my way through the entertainment industry from a different side. We've shared many beach walks and secrets, and I was the highest paid housewife of all time. I rated, and I am in a position to discuss a possible union and fair and equal treatment for all reality talent because I'm not disgruntled. I don't have my own agenda for myself, something I'm asking for. This is not a lawsuit, and this does not have anything to do with just one person or one network. I've always understood that Bravo's Andy's first priority and the housewives. That's the realm that he protects. Those are the secrets that he keeps. The first time I ever heard him say something not directly to me, but in public, was about rewives, when he said negative things about rewives. And then I went on his show and felt ambushed, but that's the name of the game there. There are going to be polls and discussions, and they're designed to kind of make people look bad, produced questions, but that's how you go, promote your products there. You got to take a couple of hits.
Okay, I thought we would stop her for 1 second so I could play you what she's talking about with Andy Cohen. Listen.
Okay. You and I are in a major public feud right now.
You took the bait, man.
Let's hash it out.
Let's do it.
So where do we begin? I mean, it's not that deep, actually.
It's not deep.
You have a Rewives podcast.
Right.
I said I thought it was kind of hypocritical of you because you've been trashing the Housewives publicly for the last 3 years to now go deep on the Housewives. And your response is?
My response is, you did not say that to me privately.
No,
you said that publicly.
What I said to you privately was, wow, I'm glad to see you're embracing the Housewives.
Which is not the same thing that you said publicly.
Yes.
So it was a little tea. And we haven't spoken about it until now. So he saved the tea.
I did.
For the tea party.
First I said I was surprised.
Right.
That was the headline.
Okay, I need a different look. We need to put the shade on.
And then on the radio,
Shocked
I was
was
like,
that-
shocked.
was the
And then
headline.
on the radio, I said, I need to explain why I'm shocked.
I
She's
know.
been trashing the show for 3 years.
Well, no, I actually haven't been trashing the show. I've said it wasn't for me because I do think that it was toxic, and I'm entitled to not want to be there but still want to talk about it. How could I be on for more than a decade and not have reflections to share? And I'm not trashing people on the show. What's funny is that it's more
you
like...
called it boring, toxic,
No, I'm
women
saying...
against other women.
No, I didn't call it boring. I've called it toxic, which I think it has
You
gone
called
into
Roni Legacy boring.
I didn't see Roni
On
Legacy.
your TikTok, you said, my reaction is boring.
Oh, well, I haven't... Well, no, it kind of was a boring announcement. You announced two different things at the same time, and I didn't really understand.
Jeff, are you enjoying this?
But-
I'm absolutely uncomfortable.
I did think it was a boring announcement.
Lewis.
But
Uncomfortable.
it's not surprising that I would reflect upon such an experience in my life. And it's not a trash and grab show. It's a show where I'm talking about things people might not have known. And I even defend, ironically, Kelly, thinking about what might have been going on really in her mind in Scary Island and things that people would know about the trips.
And no one's ever done a recap show for Housewives.
Well, no one...
That was the other thing.
How's yours different? Let's promote it. Let's
first
promote
of all, I wasn't let go by Bravo. I actually left of my own choice, so that's a little bit different. I'm not a disgruntled employee.
Which time did you leave?
I left
She
twice.
left both times on her
I
own.
left twice.
Okay, good.
Then
On
have
her
a
own.
welcome door to come
I got
back.
fired.
Right. And that's how it's bitter.
Jeff, I got
not
that.
bitter at all. No, I led in a better place.
Right, exactly. That's what they all say. Right. But...
No, I really did.
No,
I really did. Like, I'm
no,
happy.
You said it. You opened the door, baby. Don't come for this fee
Oh my
unless you
God.
want to get shut.
I have no issue with you, Bethenny.
You just said, why would you do a recap like it's never been done before?
And I
Did
said-
he shade or
I said
did he not shade?
I said
He
Housewives
shaded.
different. Let's promote it.
But somebody's a little defensive about their podcast and being a hypocrite.
There was
And then I
tea.
opened the door for you to promote it.
I didn't see it that way, but I
Wow,
appreciate
someone
it.
is so defensive.
Yeah.
And I have had opinions on the franchise in particular and reality TV and in particular, but I haven't felt comfortable really totally expressing that because I didn't want to say anything untoward about Andy or about the Housewives, the place that I came from. But I've grown increasingly uncomfortable with certain things. I've been put in situations where I've felt that it wasn't safe.
Here's one of them. Real Housewives of New York cast thought they were going to die during dangerous boat trip on Colombian getaway. So Bethenny and the girls were put on this very unsafe boat, and they ended up really having an emergency come up, and they actually called a meeting with HR and everything. They were very upset because they truly felt like they were put in danger for good TV.
I recently found out that I crashed a funeral, and that was very jarring because it's felt like there is exploitation without compensation for many people. I've now, in the past couple of days, heard stories about people whose spouses have lost jobs and people who have been threatened with contracts that they cannot use their own business and work on their own projects afterwards because the network has to own them. And then, yes, of course, there's the Bethenny clause.
Sounds like some of the housewives have reached out to Bethenny about a union for reality stars. To me, I think this is who she's talking about. Whitney Rose from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Her husband lost her job after she appeared on the show in a scene where she's like half naked or mostly naked with her husband, and they're doing like a kind of game or something. And I don't know, it was a very cringy scene. And I guess his company that he worked for, a multi-level marketing company, didn't like it. She mentions the Bethenny clause. In case you don't know what that was about, she had been paid a ridiculously low amount for her participation on Real Housewives of New York as an OG reality star. And but she did have a clause in her agreement that basically said that the television network would have no rights to her future business ventures and that she could make money off that and keep it all for herself. Later, Bravo adds a clause, which is famously to avoid the Bethenny clause, and that says that they take a percentage of all businesses that are derived from a housewife's participation on the show, not off the show. So in other words, if you do a business unrelated to the show at all or that pre-existed before the show, they don't take a piece of that. That's just a little clarity. Now, I did hear that that clause has gotten worse over the years since my contract. The Bethenny clause was in 2008. My contract came in 2011 or around that time. So, you know, now we're in 2023. I'd say it's gotten more and more stringent for Bravo and NBC's benefit, but I don't know that for a fact. However, I do know that many women told me the contracts have gotten worse and worse and worse over the years.
And people who have been threatened with contracts that they cannot use their own business and work on their own projects afterwards because the network has to own them. And then, yes, of course, there's the Bethenny clause and all of these different things that I'm thinking about that aren't equal and fair, and reality talent isn't compensated properly by and large. And I've run this by lawyers and people that work with unions and heads of the entertainment industry and asked point blank, do you think I'm right? And they have all said yes. So I know that I'm right. And there are over 100 people that have also told me that I'm right who work in this industry. Many of them are scared and threatened and have gag orders, and contracts are being used as weapons. But I want an answer because I deserve an answer. We deserve an answer, and we're going to get the answer we deserve.
I think what she was saying was that, like, for example, let's say you do a season for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and you get paid, I don't know, $40,000 for that season. Every time they air it, you should receive something. Maybe it's not 40, maybe it's 20, you know, or a percentage or a little something per episode that you appear in. She's saying, like, to have the rights to keep airing something that you're in, especially when you generally look bad, right, over and over and over again, there should be some sort of compensation. I think that's what she's saying here. So I'm going to jump in and say that's what she's saying. The thing with residuals is you have to be careful that it doesn't end up infringing on the fandom, because one of the nice things about Bravo is they don't, you know, go heavy on copyright rules and things like that with people using the content in their own art. Because actually that is what makes the Bravo network and its related programming now appearing on Peacock so popular, when you don't allow people to make it their own, they have no connection to it. And that's why the fan base in Bravo is so deep, because Bravo hasn't been rigorous with defending their content being used by the fans. You know, they're like, here, use that clip, use this clip, as long as you don't go too crazy, right? And that is mainly, I think, linked to the fact that they don't pay residuals to the reality stars that appear on the programming. They got the content really cheap. They've made a fortune on it. They look at it as marketing when content creators use the content to promote the show or whatever. So I just would be afraid that the Bravo fan base might get damaged if they went too hard on residuals. But as a single mom who doesn't get child support, the residuals from previous shows would really help me. Bethenny, let's form a union. Okay. So Andy Cohen is not going to like Bethenny Frankel's video. He's going to see that as, he's going to understand where she's coming from, but he's going to see it as an attack. It's pretty clear that their friendship has gotten to this phase where, he's like, look, I'm just going to treat you like everybody else, and I can come for you at will and be shady. And Bethenny is like, I'm going to tell the truth, what I really think. I'm not going to come for you, but I'm definitely going to give you my opinion, which I've held back through the years because I was afraid to piss off Bravo, right? And I think that really is what it comes down to, because Andy Cohen is very powerful, and he can make it very difficult on you if he wants to. I've met Bethenny once, but she didn't really give me the time of day. It was back in 2011. Yeah, I said hi. She said hi, and then didn't really want to continue the conversation. But, could be an off day. Who the hell was I anyway? All right, you guys, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button.